Welcome back, fellow armchair general. This is Gamer 1745, and we are fighting World War II. The Germans are declaring war on all kinds of people unpreparedly, yes, and we joined into the fun, and we did succeed in sort of getting some of North Africa here, and we are defending against the British there. The Germans have sent a little bit of an Africa Corps down, which is very nice of them. What kind of battle are we having here? Okay, submarines versus German supplies. Let's take a look at controls of oceans here. Yeah, well, first we want to get Sardinia. And we can do more research. Well, we're in January 1940, so we could push on these, but I don't know that we will. We do have like that, which will help all kinds of 5% bonuses about everywhere. So let's go for that. We want to get that organized up. Keep coming, Germans. Well, it looks like the Germans are withdrawing from North Africa. It's very nice of them to decide to leave. It looks like they're having convoy battles and have lost a bunch of convoys, so losing troops that they're withdrawing. And they're withdrawing even more from North Africa now that the French have gone from here. Oh, goody. So they're leaving me without any support over here. I was hoping they were coming to use some of their better panzer divisions against mine now. Okay, let's see, if we were to add another medium, we don't have enough medium tanks. Okay, we were to add some light tanks. You've got a lot. What about another motorized infantry? Yeah, we'll do that. Execute the plan. Go in here. Some of the Germans have escaped North Africa. Fine. Well. Force there to help out. Got some light forces in the back there ready to backstop. You come up this way now. A Roman Empire path in this playthrough? Well, sort of. Right now I'm just trying to survive in Africa as much as possible. Yeah, they've already taken out one of those divisions. It's collapsing. Good. We like collapsing. Oh, you get to retreat back out. Let's put you on trains and get you up to here. As well as you, one of our few good divisions. Up to here.
Ordini.
Well, very good, Toothless. How did AZ? No. Those are territory being liberated by the Western Allies, the Ethiopia. We're Italy in the center. So yeah, no, that's them liberating territory.
Ordini.
To there. Okay, well. Denmark has capitulated. We got a few more units. Unfortunately, we had already lost some territory there.
Si, signore.
So,
Pronto, signore.
we didn't get quite as much out of the event as I was hoping for.
Mantenete le distanze.
Just retreat into the mountains.
Comandi. Avanzate.
Oh, I moved almost all of my good divisions out of there. I just had like one infantry division, one cavalry division that's real. These guys are just militia templates and various, like the camel corps here, various, you know, BS type units, and these squadrons here, just a little bit of colonial cavalry. So yeah, I'm not really. Oh well, I should have moved these guys out. Oh well, damn, I messed that one up. Okay, that is a mess up by me. Another one, yeah. Let's see. Convoy rating. Let's put you into there. Well, we might as well patrol since we haven't been. I'm messing up, of course, because I'm just half-ass playing, quite honestly, because I'm doing so much other stuff. So yeah,
Si, signore. Avanzate. Pronto, signore. Avanzate.
oh, we landed.
Attento.
Okay. Like, delete all orders. Yes, you come this way. You come this way. Yeah, I guess you guys. No, well, I want you to come this way. This way. Or just straight down that way. Okay. Where are big navies? Big navies here. You go back to port. We don't need you sitting out there patrolling. You also go back to port. We don't need the big navies out using up fuel. It was just to get ashore here.
Sì, signore. Sì, signore. Avanzate! Sì, signore. Sì, signore. Comandi. Avanzate! Ordini?
What we could be doing. Okay, well, Libyan refineries via Balboa would be good. That would be great. But I don't know how long we're going to hold that. Well, 35 days is... That'll get us supply. That'll keep these guys in supply here much better. They're already retreating, so let's... No, wait a minute, this... Oh, okay, no, this... Okay, never mind. You stay... We're gonna hide in the mountains. We're gonna stay in the mountains, so... They're gonna push us out of here, they're going into there, okay. That is also plains. But...
Sì, signore. Attento. Pronto.
But also realize, Azads, the longer these guys hold out here, the more, you know, British and Commonwealth forces, they, you know, delay, they keep busy. So there's reasons to do that. At least in my mind. Now what we can come over here, well no, let's look at these guys. Come to here and then ground attack or ground support there. You have these guys out here. Okay, yeah, oh, these guys should be operating here.
Pronto all'azione. Sì, signore.
They can come into there. Those are just hills. These are mountains. These are, well, it's also hills, but okay. You, because you got delayed because of that. Oh, well, yeah. You can come over to Axum here at least. We have recaptured Sardinia. Very good. Yay, more war support. Bigger cannons. Who is generally commanding over here? Him. Okay, he has. Got that II. Okay. Now. Yeah, I think we'll go with the improved cannons for this here. I know it will set us back, but I think we have a cushion of cannons. Okay, 3 of those a day, 2.5 a week. Kick in another light tank unit. Well, the AZADs. I've been wondering about India in the next, near future, 5 to 10 years. And Modi. India seems to want to, continue to sort of play this game. Well, hey, if we can get a good deal on the equipment and relations with Russia, we're going to do that. Or hey, with the Western world, we'll buy some equipment, military equipment or whatever, with them, and playing back and forth between, flirting back and forth. And I understand the idea that, sort of get the best deal out of either one, and why limit yourself, why join a faction, if you will, if you can sort of play both. But I think in doing that, and God, I'm not in the centers of power or anything, really, but I do pay attention. It really seems to me that the West is not going to share too much high technology weapon systems with India if they keep doing this. And so it's going to hurt them. And with Russia's closer alliance to China continuing, and looks like they're heading down that path stronger, which of course China and India are at some levels of conflict here. What is India's path? Is it going to be move closer to an American alliance? Now, I do know the Biden administration is going down the sort of traditional Democrats' path of supporting Muslim nations, and Pakistan obviously being one of them. And so that's upsetting India, where Trump was going down a more pro-Indian, anti-China path. So that I know is not making Modi happy. But really, what is the sort of path you think India is going to take? I would love to hear what you're saying. Yes, Tinky, how you doing? It's a crazy world, absolutely. I don't know whether you're talking about World War II or modern day, either one. It's crazy enough. Okay, well, we're holding here. If we can keep supplied.
Formazione! Pronto all'azione. Formazione.
We can keep moving to there. We have more production capabilities.
Ordini.
One of you come up to the north to defend there. Maybe Azaz's already left. I don't know. But I'd love to hear his thoughts on it. He watches that part of the world so well. He's from that. He is in that part of the world, and he actually pays attention, which is a good thing. Yeah, you're holding out. Okay, you're holding out. You guys are probably gonna fall back. Mountains. Oh, big assignments here. Let's see. I would think they go their own way because recon to surpass China at some point, so they don't need to choose sides but stay independent. Also, their growing industry and technology, they may soon surpass China. Well, yeah. There's some bottlenecks in the world, and a combination of Germany, the Netherlands in certain technologies, US in overall global power, controls the high-end elements of semiconductor production. And yes, there is some of that going on significantly in bulk in Taiwan, but the machines that make the semiconductors are made in the Netherlands and are supplied with mirrors from Germany. So if China were to attempt to invade Taiwan, I have a very, very strong suspicion that the semiconductor factories in Taiwan would suffer a mischief, would be an old term for it. Whether locally suffered mischief or some mysterious airstrikes from somewhere. Before they fall to communist China. And to the best of my knowledge, neither China mainland or India has that level of semiconductor production, that sort of high end. Russia has rather low end semiconductor production, rather low end. China has some medium level semiconductor production. I think India is trying to get some more, but they don't have it. The US is ramping up theirs, and Israel is also another major semiconductor, high-end semiconductor point. So and we see Australia is getting nuclear powered submarines, where China's submarines are still diesel electric. They're not even air independent. They're diesel electric. So they can be quite quiet when they're not running their diesel engines, but that's only for limited time elements. And if they're just talking coastal submarines, okay, that sort of kind of works. But if you're talking longer operations, they need to have greater legs. And so they've yet to decide on whether they're going to be building American or British designed submarines, but they're ramping up their abilities, including ramping up their nuclear power situation to be able to have the fuel core reactors and whatnot for the submarines to continue to operate. India is a long way from being trusted with that level of technology, the submarines, from the Western powers. I don't think, I know Azad's who, he hasn't answered. I don't know, did you hear my question, Azad's, about the future direction of India? I don't know. We're seeing how bad the Russian equipment is. I don't think China's much better, if not actually worse in many cases. I just saw a video today about a brand new capability, at least brand new announced capability, of American submarines. That will probably just insta-locate and insta-sink Chinese submarines. So if India is thinking of having a naval war with China, it's going to be in a lot harsher place than the Anglo-American alliance. Oh, okay. I'll ask the question again, because I am very interested in your thoughts. What is going to be India's path in the next 5 to 10 years, do you think? In that they have been, sort of trying to do military trading with Russia, buying equipment and buying technology, whether for local production or importation, and trying to buy from Western sources, sort of playing each side off the other. Who's going to give us more foreign aid? Who's going to support us more? Let's try to take an independent path. And I do know that unlike the Trump administration, which was very pro-India, very pro-Modi, the Biden administration is following the traditional Democrat path of being pro-Muslim, so being pro-Pakistan, and wanting to sell more weapons and equipment and support to Pakistan, where Trump was going down a different path on that. And I don't think the Western allies are going to continue to put up with, they're going to allow India to do what India wants to do, but they're not going to support India with high-tech weaponry if they're continuing to do business with military technology with Russia. And since Russia's getting closer to China now as a Chinese, trying to format a Russia-China bloc, how is Modi and crew going to, go down that, staying independent with the French? So they're thinking the French, okay. But see, I don't think India is going to have access to the high-tech capabilities. And sort of the example was, of course, Australia with the, building the new nuclear submarines that they're going to be building, and they're getting that technology to do so. Yeah, I can see France selling some technologies, but I don't know. So, yeah. France is looking for a military trading partner for sure. That is quite true. Well, high-tech semiconductors, the higher end stuff. Well, yeah, I saw announced today the new new undersea drone operation capable of operating out of our Virginia-class submarines that I think means insta-kill to just about any submarines out there. Ah, no. Semiconductor high-tech is controlled by by the Netherlands and by Germany. The Netherlands make the machines. The Germans make the mirrors that go in the machines. Taiwan is just the production location path, but they can only sell to countries that the U.S. lets them sell to. And as I said, if China looks like they're going to be invading, I think those semiconductor plants will suffer a mischief, whether it mean a local explosion or some sort of phantom airstrike out of nowhere that blows them up. So they won't fall into Chinese hands, and they won't be trading these high-tech semiconductors with nations who are doing military trading with Russia. That is just going to not be a thing. And so if India is going to buy weapons or sell weapons to Russia, they will not, I don't think, be allowed to buy high-tech semiconductors from Taiwan. I know right now Iran is selling a lot of their weaponry to Russia to fight in Ukraine, but they've already need Indian diesel, so that's good enough trade. Yeah, but you see, I hear you, but they need America more than they need anything from India. How many battles have taken place here? Are we just clicking on the same one? Okay. We need to get out here, and where are some naval vessels here? Okay. No, I want some destroyers, not big fleets. Here we go. Okay. You guys select here. You patrol the Adriatic. And they need American natural gas more than they need Indian diesel. So, yeah, I hear you, Azads, and my understanding, the Netherlands have agreed to the limitations of selling the machines that the Americans have asked for. Or the government is sort of in the process, which means they're going to be agreeing, which means they've already, in essence, agreed. It's just going through the formalities. So they're not going to be selling the machines to anybody that America doesn't want them to. And the mirrors, well, without the machines, the mirrors are sort of useless. Europeans are having a hard time with the U.S. encouraged self-defeating sanctions anyways. I heard a talk of trade war with U.S. over LNG price gouging. Well, yeah, and for anybody, that's liquid natural gas is the LNG stuff. Well, the Biden administration has made natural gas very expensive here in the United States. So what they're doing, they're just not getting it at a knockdown bonus. The Biden administration is going to last approximately another 2 years, or 2 years and 3 months to be more precise. And then there will be a Republican administration, whether it's Trump or somebody else. I am not absolutely sure. I do believe it will be Trump if he decides to run and if he's healthy enough at that point. So it's going to be a changeover. We will see here in approximately, Tuesday coming up, we will see probably both the House and the Senate flip to Republicans, and flip solidly. The House, I'm almost assured of. The Senate, most likely flipping. So that will happen, and I think that will give a wake-up call to the world as to what will be happening in the next presidential elections. If the U.S. lets Europe have the gas at the expense of New England. Well, New England, they need a lot of diesel in New England. Actually, there's a lot of home heating in New England is home or fuel oil, diesel basically, production. Meaning a truck shows up to your home and fills a tank up at your home. It's not natural gas. It's a lot of diesel. I don't know how much large plant production natural gas they're going to need there, but New England has home heating, and it's diesel in home heating, liquid stuff, sort of heavy fuel. And that's what they need particularly, and that is there either already are or will be rolling diesel shortages on the East Coast, and particularly the northern half of the East Coast, down out of New England, down into the sort of central states here. So natural gas used for diesel for heating. Yeah, you need both. But I think the real shortage is going to be the diesel. You may have looked into it, but I don't know that natural gas production is so limited that we cannot. We're gonna meet our own demands, but the prices is going to go up, and which also means Europe price is going to go up. So, hey, Extreme Finger, how you doing? Yeah, generally speaking, I like the new DLC. It's not bad. I mean, most of the bad things with HOI IV are pre-existing bad things, shall we say. Not new bad things. Very good to hear. All right, we can build more factories. We could build something else. Let's build another synthetic fuel refinery. Here, fuel will be useful. Amount of fuel switching from natural gas to diesel oil going on already. Well, I'm liking I'm actually fairly liking the Italian national focus tree. Obviously, I'm staying away from the ahistorical, let's get rid of Mussolini bullshit. But that's doing pretty good. I'm glad they got divisional generals back, though they're not interesting enough yet. Yeah. Oh shit. Here I haven't been paying attention, and the British somehow invaded here. Oh goody. Oh goody. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, and they just landed. Okay. Yes, the air changes are good as well, in that you have to fly through zones to get to other zones. Yes. Oh, European industry is shutting down. Yes, that's very true, AZs. But you know, I would say, you say not choose to side with the U.S. I would say the push for support for Ukraine is coming more from Europe than it is coming from America, AZs. It is not deciding, it's not whether support, side with the U.S. No, I would say, from my perspective, looking out from the U.S. here and seeing the stuff, it's as much Germany and France and Britain that have been pushing the anti-Russian as it is the Americans. And once Trump, next year we're gonna see a radical reduction in military aid to Ukraine, because the Republicans are going to get in, and by the time Trump gets in, there will either need to be peace in the Ukraine, or the U.S. will fully stop supporting Ukraine war industry. Oh yeah, no, I understand. True weapons save lives, good at all costs, humanitarian aid goods are overvalued, war is the new peace. Yeah, it'll pass over one way or another. Support for Ukraine is coming from European governments which got elected before the energy crisis. Absolutely. Talking with some people in Europe, and Norway, which has a surplus in energy, has, at least in southern Norway, has a big spike in energy costs because they're keeping their previous commitments to supply energy into the rest of Europe. You had only until the last moment did finally the green energy minister of Germany agree to keep open the nuclear power, the 3 nuclear power plants remaining, and they're now expanding coal mine production to expand to the energy. I think there's going to be a massive shift in Europe. Well, there's been protests in Europe. I actually think the protests in Europe are calming down, AZADs, compared to the yellow vest protests of earlier. So I think it's getting actually less. Yes, Tinky, I think that's the case, because I think most people in Europe, shall we say, outside of Russia, are pro-Ukraine. But that doesn't mean that they're pro over involvement in Ukraine. So whenever you get the establishment saying, well, that's, when somebody goes, hey, I don't know if we should send so much aid to Ukraine, that's what Putin would want you to do, is the accusation, as opposed to going, hey, I just rationally looked at it and I think we're just dumping too much money into this. Well, okay, it's not just the underdog, it's who is the aggressor. There was no territorial aggression by Ukraine against Russia. There was the revolution and the breaking away from a pro-Russian stance, yes. But other than that, and an attempt to move closer to Europe, and likely already, even before Zelensky officially asked for it, moving towards a pro-NATO, joining NATO stance, yes. But there was no territorial claims or aggression against Russia until, of course, Russia takes Crimea, takes the Donbass region even before the major invasion. So it's more of that to me than the underdog. And I know what will German left is playing the government for the current energy policy. Yeah, I'm sure. But I'm thinking of the protests, the Yellow Vest protest and others, particularly in France, have been bad for years now, and that's actually led up. So I will tell you, the fighting in the Ukraine, my opinion is the fighting in the Ukraine will last until one of two things happens. One, and this is what everybody in the West is hoping for, is the collapse of the Putin regime in Russia. And that's quite possible. I don't know that it's imminent. It may take 10 years, but it's quite possible, because we saw the Soviet Union collapse very much over the situation in Afghanistan, very much. Where the U.S. did not collapse over Vietnam. Sure, we pulled out. Sure, it affected who got elected the next president. Yes, but it was not a collapse of, an established regime. So either until the collapse of the Russian regime, or until the flow of Western munitions stops into Ukraine. And then at that point, the Ukrainians will be willing to talk about a settlement of some sort. Now, I think they realize this, and I think some of their offensives and whatnot is they're trying to retake territory back. So when that demand comes, saying, hey, you better start negotiating terms with Russia, because if you don't, we're cutting off that weapon supply. It'll be said very quietly, not publicly. And then at that point, Ukraine will start talking. Now, if they've retaken, down here, they push seriously, they want to maybe take back, God, I always blank on names. I don't know why. The wrecked city down here, whatever it is. Take that back. Maybe not all of the Donbass, but take back this city right here. Wish it was on the map. They're hoping to take that back and take back some more of the territory. So once the peace settlements happen, they'll get much of their territory back that they've currently lost. Those are the two conditions that will end this war, because the Ukrainians are continuing to train up a more and more professional army, and they definitely have the munitions advantage. So it's sort of the thing. If this war goes nuclear, me and my daughter are. I don't know that if it goes nuclear means it's going to go global nuclear or even theater nuclear. It might just go, take out Kiev or whatever. The current rate, I'm worried that Ukraine will win so hard Russia falls apart, like Yugoslavia style. Well, you do know that Russia still has a puppet proxy state up in this part of Georgia and has another sort of proxy puppet state over in this part of Georgia that the Georgians would love to get rid of. The Armenians and the Azerbaijanis keep fighting, and I think that's because Russia is fueling militarily Azerbaijan to keep the oil flowing out of Baku into Russia. Chechnya is more or less mostly done as a fight, but so you still also have the Russian-controlled proxy state sliver along this river here that is technically inside of Moldavian territory, but really, I think they ought to go back to this border. I know it means giving up Ukrainian territory to Romania, but I think that's this. Get rid of the border gore, guys. Border gore is not good long term. I know it means Ukraine giving up territory, but I think it might make a good, strong Romania as a southern ally here. But either way, this bit here is more or less currently Ukraine. This is Moldavia, and Moldavia. And there's I saw a good sort of documentary on reasons for and reasons not for having Moldavia back integrated into Romania. But I think in the long run, because it's going to cause hassle and headache for Romania, that's going to be expensive, and they can't necessarily afford all the stuff. But I think in the long run, it'll make them better and stronger and just get the border sort of secured there. So yeah, we're already sort of seeing a situation that is still and also Kaliningrad. We still have the Kaliningrad problem. We still haven't gone through the full, and we're still going through the breakup. The breakup of empires is fucking ugly, okay? It is ugly. There is a lot of no-win elements to it. And to bring it back to Azads, who I do like, and who's, I would call sort of I don't think he would disagree with this, sort of an ultra-nationalistic Indian viewpoint. We have not so much the breakup of the British Raj, but we have the breakup of the Mughal Raj, if you will, in the and the ugliness of it with the establishment of Pakistan and what eventually becomes Bangladesh, the Muslim and Hindu separations that the British absolutely perpetuated, the the divide and rule elements that they found when they came into India, and they were still, we'll go at theoretical independent states within India at the time of World War II and up until independence. And so the breaking up between the Hindus and the Muslims was sort of the major dividing line, but there are a lot of different languages, which also mean different cultures in India that I am sure are intermixed in cities and whatnot, that if India were to break up any further, it would be bloody and ugly as all hell. I hope India does not break up any further than it has. I think it is good that Bangladesh is its own nation, but is something of a, I would say, an Indian puppet to a degree. But it allows the Muslims to be a majority in their particular territory, so they sort of govern shall we say, a self-governing territory as part of Greater India. Let's see what Muslim share of pop skyrocket under the British Raj, which can in turn cause the creation of Pakistan. Yeah, you know the details more than I do, Azads. I will readily admit that. And I don't know how much is birth rate population versus conversion rate population under the British, and the Muslims. I do think there were a lot of, shall we say, Muslim principality or types ruling territories that the British did business with, and so people saw them as sort of the side to be on. I wish Bangladesh was an Indian puppet. Hardly. Well, I know you wish it. I'm saying it, and you know the situation again more than I do, but it's very much a geographical puppet, I would say. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Muslims were keen to ally with the Brits on even the societal level. Yes. I understand that the Brits used the Muslims as part of the control element for the British Raj, and of course, Azads knows and disagrees that I think it would have been nice. It would have been healthy for India to have another 20 to 40 years of enlightened British rule to just inject that bit more of Anglo culture, because there is a lot of Anglo culture injected into I was going to say British India, but into India, that I think is healthy for it, because it does make it more on part of the international stage, and I think it was healthy for India. And if India was going to be occupied by anybody, I think it was best that it was the British. Now, again, I understand Azad doesn't like anybody occupying India. I get that. But if you're going to have an occupier, I think the British were probably the best choice. So, yeah. And back to IKB's point, you still got Kaliningrad. Well, Kaliningrad's more up here. That's actually gone back to Lithuania. You have the Baltic states mess that is still a continuation of who's Russian and who's, Estonian or Lithuanian or Latvian, nationalities in here that sort of give, whether it's pretext or what language they get taught in schools, what ethnicity. Again, and everybody here, I don't care about genetics. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about language, culture, and identity. You'd say the French. Well, the French would have had a lighter touch, I do believe. But if you look at French Africa versus British Africa, I would say British Africa is doing better in most cases. So, and I would say like Jordan and Egypt are doing better than Pakistan and Algeria. Well, maybe I should have clicked there, but so but I think the transmission of culture was healthy for India. So yeah, we have that, and we're still dealing with the breakup of Yugoslavia. We've got so-called Macedonia here. We have Kosovo still somewhat here, Montenegro still here. It's still dealing with the breakup of that to a degree. Got to compare Jordan, Egypt with Lebanon, Syria. Yeah, and Lebanon, Syria, I see a lot more civil wars going on here. I remember the 70s and the 80s with the very, very violent civil war going on. I would say there's a very low-grade civil war and occupation. The sort of the, how much is it Hezbollah? I keep confusing Hezbollah and Hamas. I forget which one is sort of more indigenous to Lebanon. Who's the real government in there? And then, of course, we see the ongoing civil war here. Now, we do sort of see a slightly lower grade civil war here with the Kurds up here and the Shia and the Sunni all sort of messed up in Iraq too. But this was a more direct British ruling here than it was in Iraq as far as I can tell. So yeah. Oh, true, Lebanon wasn't a country before the French. But neither was Syria, neither was Iraq, neither was Jordan, neither was Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was a bunch of desert nomads and a Turkish railway running down to Mecca. That's all that, and it was, this was all the, the Ottoman, all the Ottoman Empire before the British and the French. I mean, there was the Ottoman Empire and there was the Iranian or Persian empires. Those existed, and all these countries are just stages of breaking up of the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, and Lebanon was created as a place where the Christians could potentially have a majority, but Christian birth rates have not kept up with Muslim birth rates in Lebanon, so including before independence. So they have lost out, and it was part of the divide and rule element with going in there, is to create a pro-French Arab minority or whatever group that might actually be a majority. I don't think it ever really was, in that part of the world there, as to help keep a French foothold. Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia becomes a local creation only because... Why? Why does Saudi Arabia become a local creation? It's a power vacuum creation, not really a local creation. I wonder how Lebanon viewed themselves culturally and historically. Well, they were just part of the Levant that was occupied by the Ottomans and had been occupied by the Ottomans. Well, okay, now before the Ottomans show up, the Arabs do take over there from, because the Christian Arabs, I've known a few. Again, I don't know genetics, but some of them look back to the peoples to the original peoples here, like the Coptic Christians in Egypt consider themselves not Arabs but the ancient Egyptians. They were sort of there. Lebanese Christians are also the most Europeanized demographic in that region. Yes, of course they are. The Maronites is the group. So they just shows how bad it is to be Europeanized low. Well, again, the only reason Saudi Arabia is a local creation is because the winning tribe that was a British creation doesn't stay in the fucking deserts. They go, shit, man, the deserts are fucking hot and dry. Mecca is cool, but the deserts are fucking hot and dry. We'll take Iraq, please. Prince Faisal. Great movie if you ever watched Lawrence of Arabia. Great movie. Prince Faisal, the main leader, and his tribal alliance, not just his tribe, but his tribal alliance, are the ones that famously with T.E. Lawrence or Lawrence of Arabia, are the ones that are arming up. And they're a tribe that's located sort of out in here as their sort of homeland, but they'd rather have the Tigris and Euphrates valleys, so Prince Faisal is turned into King Faisal of Iraq. So with the main British puppet leaving to go take over Iraq and migrate their tribe into Iraq, this again shows how all these countries are just European creations, including Saudi Arabia, because at the time there was no oil there, and there was sort of the cultural conflict of having Europeans control Mecca was recognized by the British. So this is sort of worthless sand, as they saw it, with a troublesome symbol of Mecca that they don't want a Christian banner, a Christian country over, sort of left that to be the empty area to run yourself, and the Sauds win there. So yes, Azad's right that it's sort of a self-creation, but it's sort of a hey, we're staying out, guys. We're taking it everywhere else, either directly, like Aden, or puppets, like Oman. We're taking everywhere else, but you guys out in the deserts have fun. Have fun building sandcastles if you can find enough water to harden the sand up, kind of things. And so that's why Saudi Arabia is sort of its own creation. But just in that the Europeans, because they don't know there's oil there, let that become a thing. And so, yeah. Going to be scary, guys, or it already is. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to be ending the stream now and the episode as well. In approximately 1 hour, I will be starting over on Slytherine's channel, playing Order of Battle, Allies Victorious. We're going to be continuing the D-Day invasion. If you want to catch me in an hour or so, I'm going to take a break and come back. Good talking with you, Azads and Extreme Finger, Beam Slam, Tinky, Arno. Who else am I forgetting that's been actually contributing to the conversation? Yeah, all right. I guess that's mostly it. And anybody else here, thank you so much. Enjoyed hanging out with you guys. We will continue our, I'll save this again. No, not load, save. Continue our playthrough next weekend, and everything else. So, bye, Tinky. Would you consider building a railway a political act? War Thunder definitely is tomorrow. War Thunder's tomorrow for sure. It can be a political act. Rome definitely built roads as a, again, warfare is a political act. So military bases are political act. Rome used roads as a military ability to move troops rapidly and effectively, but also trade and commerce. not all roads were built by the army. Not all roads were built for military purposes in the Roman Empire. But it can be. But it can also just be an industrial one, like we often see in Africa, to get resources from the interior to the coast, which is, people. And right now it's a big fashion to criticize Cecil Rhodes in Britain. And that's where you get Rhodes scholars from. They're all embarrassed of being called Rhodes scholars. But Rhodes wanted to build a Cape to Cairo railway, which they've yet to still do. He was trying to do so. He wanted to have it all British, and could never do so, not in his lifetime. And the British, this railway that connects here wasn't built until independence. And trying to get Zambia, a railroad that didn't go through Portuguese-controlled territory or Rhodesian-controlled territory, get a way out to the ocean and whatnot, because the other way was controlled through Portugal as well. At the time, when they started working on it, at least. I don't know exactly when it was done. That railway, Rhodes was not doing it to move resources to Britain, because Cecil Rhodes, I'm sure, didn't know him, and I've not even read a biography or anything of him, knew that shipping was better and is better, and why Britain is so good. I know, IKB is going to have to go, not hear this, is so much better than railway movements. Shipping is the best ability to move goods in the planet. It is why we have a globally connected world today, is because of shipping, not railroads. Railroads may be second, but it is firmly a second over ships. And so, yes, build the Suez canals and whatnot for sure, and railway needs to be part of building a Suez Canal and whatnot. But that was a look to develop Africa, because Britain could, cover the periphery just fine with shipping and extract resources out, but he wanted to connect and develop Africa. Yeah, sure, it's from a very Eurocentric or British-centric viewpoint of the world that he wanted to do it and all, but I don't, we can talk about, and it is sub-Saharan Africa, yes. We can talk about anything outside of Ethiopia, though. There is no states, there is no development in sub-Saharan Africa without European cultural influence. Just doesn't happen. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I know that just added a little more time here, but like I say, I'll see you tomorrow for War Thunder, guys, and maybe in, if you want to earn free games from Slytherin and Matrix, show up and watch the stream, because you will get points to get free games over there. So, see you guys soon.